anyhow, it will, the thing in the time as you create time to exist. We will begin the idea of the interaction between of your time as you have co-created with an idea we have been discussing previously. What you call this week of your time, the idea we had. In this way indicated was possibility, that which you call the interaction with your country and the country you understand to be Libya. In this way recognize that you have surprised us. In this way, though we did, in this way share with you the idea that we sensed that the interaction was possible and highly probable. In this way, our sensing of your energy allowed us to perceive that you had rechanneled, and in this way, in a sense, let us say, deflected much of that energy when you co-created the idea of your interaction within your Philippine nation. In this way, our perception of your creation of the interaction anyway, 1 month after we perceived that it would occur, is an indication to us that you are beginning, subconsciously, unconsciously, and consciously, to take over the reins of control of the reality you are experiencing. And in this way, you are becoming, in that sense, more accelerated and more random in your overall understanding of what you are determining is the type of reality that you will experience as your first density state. In this way, therefore, we find that at this time, our perception into your overall mass consciousness will, in that sense, be now, in this time frame, more, let us say, sketchy. For in this way, you will find that if you are exercising the idea of the control of your own acceleration, you are now going to create the interactions as you see fit in this way, and we may be able to sense moment to moment some of those interactions, but now they can change in what you call the spur of a moment. We do detect that the energy of what you call the April month, and in this way the opportunity to explore the decision and the choice of what type of reality you will have in your first density still remains, and the incident still adds to the overall energy of the momentum of that opportunity. But in this way, we find that you have created a degree of fluctuation within this pattern that is no longer discernible in any fixed structure. You follow me? Yes. In this way, we thank you for the opportunity to experience, let us say, the willingness to begin to operate under your own power. You will find as you accelerate towards these opportunities, you can begin to choose the manifestation of these energies and interactions in more positive ways. And as we have said, you will find that we will still make suggestions that will allow what you call to be your April month to the activity month. In this way, we will suggest ways in which the energy that you are now going to be able to begin to perceive within your society can be channeled in positive way to create the equal interaction with you, by you, and from you, with, from, and to what you call your political, social, economic, and religious structures in your society. Not only in your own country, but in all countries upon your planet. We will suggest activities that will allow you to have the boldness of the conviction of creating the communication necessary to allow other individuals upon your planet in this way to know what beliefs you prefer, without accusation, without demands, but simply statements of preference in this way. And in no uncertain terms, the allowance of other individuals to recognize that there is in your society at this time, within many individuals within that society, a preference for peace. You follow me? Yes. Then we will make these suggestions, and in whatever way, shape, or form your imagination chooses to alter the idea, functioning within your own integrity, will be the way in which you shall manifest those suggestions, if you choose to do so at all. Thank you for our opportunity in experiencing this co-creation of this acceleration at this time. And many of you will, from this point forward, begin to unlock further and further from the realities you have been experiencing within the format of your habitual structures, and begin to form more and more experiences that will be spur of the moment, synchronous, simultaneous creation. Surely!
Yeah.
You, then you.
Hi. I don't understand how the specific media incident that's occurring now reflects our willingness to take over from our government.
In this way, you will understand that you are creating interactions to take place that bring you to the understanding of what to call a negative interaction that will lead to other ideas of connections, also with what you call Soviet Union, that will bring you to the brink of a decision.
I was wondering if we can offer a perceived prognosis for this event between U.S. and Libya.
Not at this time. This is what we are saying. You have the reins in your own hands at this time. You are running on your own steam. And in this way you are changing the decisions now from moment to moment completely. We may perceive in any given moment, but now to us, your overall consciousness, particularly as it is focused within that endeavor, is a blur of acceleration. In other words, if you wish to make an analogy, we now may view the idea of what you may call the roulette wheel in motion. And in this way, there is no telling where the ball will drop. We can perceive it is in motion. We can perceive that you, with your own hands, have spun the wheel. Where the ball will drop will be the product of the decision exactly when the decision is made. And then we will know, and you will know at the same time.
So we should expect the unexpected.
Yes! Thank you!
Before, I was speaking to Daryl
Yes.
earlier
Yes.
about some feelings that I had and some thoughts that I had, and I didn't really want to talk about them openly.
Why?
Well, because that's just how I feel right now.
Oh,
Maybe in a few minutes I might change my mind.
All right.
In the last 6 days, or I should say about 6 days ago, I went through a process that...
May I ask you a question?
Yes?
Are you sure?
Am I sure?
Am I sure I may ask you a question?
Oh, yes. You may.
All right. You do not have to answer. All right?
All right.
Thank you. Can you use your imagination right now for a moment? Yes?
Yes?
All right. Will you imagine, in all the scenarios and situations that you feel you are creating yourself to be, for now, because we are playing a game and it's safe, ask yourself and envision what is, in your terms, the worst thing that could possibly happen. The worst. Give it your best shot. The worst. Have you got it? Can you imagine something that you could call the absolute worst thing that could happen?
Yes.
All right. How does it feel?
Emotional.
All right. Do you find that in imagining this so-called worst thing that could happen, that you are still perceiving opportunities and avenues in this situation in which you could still function to change that situation?
You mean I have choices?
Yet, even within the worst thing that could happen, do you still perceive that even within that experience you have choices?
Yes.
Then understand you are perfectly safe in all the endeavors you are enacting right now. For in this way, if you can imagine, even within the worst scenario that you still have choices, you are completely in control. Follow me.
Yes.
Therefore, right now, allow yourself, for a moment, we are still playing the game, to forget all of the situations you find yourself to be within. Allow yourself to create right now a situation that is neither, in this sense, let us say, any worse, any better, but simply, let us say, extremely different from the ones you find yourself to be in right now. If you wish 180 degrees, create and invent a situation that has nothing at all to do with what you are doing now, something completely and totally different. Can you do that?
Okay.
Have you got it?
Yes.
All right. Now, how does that situation feel?
Better.
Better. All right. Now, in what way?
More secure.
Secure. Do you, well, I'll say, can you allow yourself to know why?
Why I feel more secure?
Yes. All right. Now, ask yourself the question two ways. Allow yourself to perceive that you may feel more secure because you are not in the situation you were in, but let that go for now.
Okay.
The question I am asking you is, can you imagine why you feel more secure because of the situation you are now in rather than the situations you are now not in?
I'm sorry.
All right.
The one more time,
The
please?
situation you are now within,
All right.
in your imagination.
Uh-huh.
How does being in that situation allow you to feel secure rather than simply the idea that you are not in the other situations which make you feel less secure? How does the situation itself allow for the creation of security?
It feels more like a successful end result.
Successful. What does that mean?
Accomplishing my own goal.
All right. End result. End result. Now you know, and I know you know, that nothing ever ends. You follow me?
Yeah.
You will always be growing. You will always be creating. Always, 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 eternally. You follow me?
Mm-hmm.
Now, with this idea, can you find that if you will extend yourself in this new situation to the next step, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one, on and on and on and on, always accomplishing the intermediary goals that lead to new goals, that lead to new goals, can you understand that eventually you may still come around back to the situations you are in now, in different ways?
Yes, and that's probably part of my question.
All right.
Of seeming, I feel like I have made a commitment to myself as far as becoming more aware.
More aware, all right.
And
How have you made that commitment to yourself to become more aware?
simply just by being open to learn more.
All right. What about making that commitment to yourself to become more aware by being who you are? And allowing who you are to be all right. What about that?
That's crossed my mind, yes.
All right. Then recognize in this way that what you seek will and is, I'll say, be attainable in that way if you allow yourself to know that exactly where you are is all right because you chose to create it to show yourself something of value.
Right, I understand that.
All right.
And I
Then why do you feel that the situation you are in is not something that is going to get you where you want to be?
because I have created the same situation more times.
Nope.
Too many times.
Nope. You have never created this situation before.
All right, I understand.
You follow
what
me?
you said. Yes, I do.
It is always new. Understand that when you give yourself the opportunity, each and every one of you many times, to feel like you are seemingly repeating a situation, you are not repeating anything. You are giving yourself an opportunity to understand you have grown because now you are looking, let us say, at a similar situation from a different point of view. You are constantly checking with yourself, looking at the same situation from a different area on the cycle as you rotate around the situation. To check all the different parameters and perspectives you have now allowed yourself to become. You follow me?
Yeah.
You're not rehashing anything. You are always looking from a new point of view. It is only your judgment that you are rehashing something that does not allow you to see through the eyes of the you now happen to be. You follow me?
Oh, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, well, the other part of my question is I feel like when I make what I consider to be great strides.
Great strides.
Yes.
Measuring. Always measuring. Are you living or measuring?
I'd like to think I was living.
You'd like to, all right. How about doing it then? Think that you are living.
Okay, I am living.
Thank you. Then recognize if you are living, that means you are enjoying every moment that you live. And there is no need to measure one moment as compared to the last one. To make measurements. To figure out, in your judgment, how far you have come. For understand that no matter where you are along the line, both where you came from and where you are going is infinite in either direction. There is no way to measure where you are along the line. You follow me?
Yeah.
All measurements of how far you have come are completely and utterly arbitrary. They are illusions. You are living in the moment. You always will be. That is exactly always where you will find yourself. Right now. Always now. You will never find yourself anywhere else, ever, except now. So what is there to measure? If there is nothing else except now, what can you measure from now to? You are always, if you make any measurement, only measuring from now to now. It is always now.
Well, then.
It is an analytical form of judgment that you are structuring yourself within. There is no need to be cautious of every step. Make sure you are always exactly balanced on that thin edge, walking that very thin line. If you create the assumption that the path you are on is a thin one and that you could fall to either side very easily, then you will have a tendency to create the opportunity to lose your balance. Understand that if you are the path that you are on, then you can allow yourself to be as wide as you wish, to encompass the entirety of your universe. You follow me?
Yes. Okay.
Oh, has this served you?
Yes, I have to think about what you said and digest it.
You do not have to.
Well, that's what I choose.
Oh, thank you very much. Sure. You, then.
Okay, last week I shared with you that I began breathing more consciously, and that was bringing up a different experience of living for me. And this week it's become, my breathing has become deeper.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
All right.
And it's very interesting. I'm getting a whole different sensation in my throat area.
Nice.
As if the only, I mean, I don't really need the comparison because
all right, you are clearing, you are oxygenating in that way, you are invigorating yourself and
yeah,
your
it's like
cells.
when I used to run and I get that somewhat same type of feeling in my throat.
You are allowing yourself to become open in your ability and willingness to express who you are.
Yes, and I'm finding that I'm being so much in the moment lately that it's thoughts that are coming up from not even staying around very long.
Yes.
I don't even know how I feel right now. And someone asked me how I feel.
How do you feel?
The closest I can come to it is I feel alive.
Thank you very much. A complete answer.
And also, I'm not hungry lately.
Yes.
And when I eat it...
One of the symptoms of force density transformation.
Okay, and when I eat...
You are sustaining yourself on your own energy.
Yes, with the brain out.
Yes.
Okay. And when I eat, but yet my stomach feels empty, yet I'm not hungry.
Yes.
And when I eat, my stomach still feels empty.
All right. You will find your own balance. You will find your own pace.
But I love it because eating to me has most of my life been something that I would rather not spend the time doing. I'd be rather doing something.
All right. Don't judge it.
Well, no, I'm not.
I know.
It's something people like to do, and for
Yes.
me, I just take it. If I just
All right.
take a tablet.
Are you ingesting water?
No, not a lot.
All right. At least what you call 3 of your glasses a day.
Okay, no, I haven't.
All right. The energy in the matrix of the water will also add energy to your cellular structure.
Okay, now I don't need to have this belief that this will cause me to lose weight by eating, not eating.
Oh, you may lose a little, but in this way it is not so much a loss, but a shifting of some of your mass into energy. You follow me?
Yeah, and also, there are times, over the last year I felt this a lot, and even more now, a sense of such a lightness that sometimes I feel like I'm floating.
Yes.
Like my feet aren't touching the ground.
Good. Very good. Again, another symptom of the acceleration into force density.
Good, I'm having a good time.
Thank you very much for the sharing of the idea and the expression that you are.
Thank you.
Yes.
Good evening, Bashar.
To you.
I wanted to share something that happened to me last week.
Oh, what?
I had a thought, and I realized that
the thought I had was a conclusion of things that I had subconsciously collected. In other words, I had subconsciously collected some facts and come up with a conscious conclusion.
All right.
And is that what you mean by when you have a thought, it's the end of a process, not the beginning that requires action?
In a sense, yes. It is the cognition, in this way, of the blending of knowingness and all of the processes you might be creating within yourself.
Okay, that's pretty much what I thought. I have another question now. I'm curious, it's conceived that certain magicians and sorcerers could utter certain sounds or spells to unlock energies from different dimensions, and healing spells and what kind of stuff.
Tonality, the utilization of vibrational harmonic resonance, that is what you call the idea of a chant or a magic formula.
So they do exist on more than just our dimension, and is that,
in a sense, yes.
Is that knowledge available to us?
Of course.
Could you enlighten us to any of those?
Do your own research. Understand there are so many in that way that you will simply attract yourself to the one, if you need it, that feels right to you. You can also invent your own.
Why is it called black magic?
Now, in this way, understand that that is a term that lumps many ideas within one. The idea, in that way, of simply the recognition of those tonal vibrations is not considered by everyone in your terminology to be black magic.
Sure.
In this way, simply recognize, however, that there have been individuals that have attempted to utilize that idea for negative purposes, and in that way, that could be, in your society, called black magic. And in this way, there are also many individuals who perceive all the idea of that type of interaction with the universe as something negative, and so they would call anything lumped within that black magic. Thank you.
Can I ask you a couple things about crystals?
Thank
you. I wanted to ask you, do pure isotopes of the same element crystallize identically?
No.
Okay, can you force them to crystallize in ways other than the natural way they would crystallize?
There can be some rearrangements, in a sense.
Is that what you do to your magnesium-31?
To a degree. You will find in this way that it will have a naturalness to crystallize in a certain path, but also it will follow the template laid down in the energy force field for it to grow upon.
You talk about the template often.
Yes.
As far as I can understand it, it has a lot to do with what we call our scalar electromagnetic potential.
It has everything to do with everything called physical reality.
Okay, well, this is the beginning of our understanding of non-physical reality.
All right.
Is the template, I understand that to be part of the non-physical.
Yes. It is the last bridge in the link in this way just before physical reality from non-physical.
Okay, does that have to do with the... We're trying to put together the non-physical and physical here on Earth.
Yes.
And they're trying to understand the photon interaction with the spinning of the electron.
Again, in this way, as we have said, the inclusion and allowance of consciousness in the equations will make all the difference.
If I were to help Daryl learn some of the higher mathematical terms necessary for quantification of consciousness, could you channel that through him?
Possibly.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Sorry.
I'd like to share some thoughts about changing between third and fourth and back.
Oh, by all means.
And get your ideas. It seems to me that I'll tell you what happened to me.
All right.
Get your reaction. At one point, a couple of months ago, I felt myself so speeded up that it almost became impossible for me to actually do my job at work.
All right.
So
Did you have a good time?
Oh, yes.
Oh, thank you.
Well,
Please continue.
I always had a good time watching myself, seeing what's happening, especially in terms of transformation.
All right.
But I realized that there were certain concepts that I couldn't really deal with, that I had to deal with.
All right.
I told myself, very consciously, I said, okay, I'm going to remain in fourth density or wherever I am, yet from where I am, I'm going to allow myself to function with the third density concept.
How creative.
And it worked. And I was wondering if you could perceive, though, whether right now the last 2 weeks have been very busy at work and doing a lot of third density work.
What does that mean?
Right, that's a good question. That means I have to deal with...
You what?
I deal with certain concepts.
All right.
I'm aware that it's linear and it's causal and,
All right.
and this kind of stuff, and I'm aware of it, and I'm quite capable of doing it because I've done it for a number of years.
All right.
Now, does that slow me down?
No.
It doesn't.
Obviously not.
Well, it's not obvious to me.
Oh, well, thank you. Allow me to illuminate. In this way, recognize that since you know what you are doing it from a perspective that allows you to contain the idea of third density from a fourth density perspective. And in this way, it is one of the ideas you have chosen to explore about your transformation. So therefore, it is not a slowing down of anything.
Okay. But I did it earlier when I slowed myself down consciously.
All right. Then that served a purpose.
Yeah, because I felt that if I didn't, I could disappear if I wanted to.
Yes.
And so I very consciously did it.
All right. Thank you.
Now, can you perceive these kinds of changes in people?
Sometimes. It will depend upon what they are willing to share of themselves in that way, and what is pertinent to our interaction.
Because you said once before that you couldn't, most of the time you recognize people, but sometimes you didn't because they changed their vibration.
Yes.
And I was just wondering, do you recognize me?
Yes.
Oh, you do? Okay, thank you.
Oh, thank you. So you recognize me?
Indeed.
Oh, all right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure.
Sure.
You, then you.
The other night, my girlfriend and I, at about 2 in the morning, Friday morning, we saw a UFO, and she brought it up to you on Monday night. And we both sensed into it, and when I sensed into it, I got the name of Ephesia, and from the planet Sirius. And the sense that I got of her...
Are you saying Sirius or Sirius?
Sirius, yes, that's correct. I didn't know how to pronounce it.
Are you referring to Sirius?
Sirius, yes.
Then understand in this way, it is not a planet, it is a star.
All right.
There is planets round about the star. Continue.
All right, thank you. And my understanding of her was that...
All right. Okay. In this way, recognize that our perception of that idea is a connection to some of that energy in an outward sense, but also through symbologies that are archetypal to you in many past lives that allow you to gather together many of the ideas you have been, to show yourself through the symbology of the energy you once used in that way and are using now, how to form the connection forward.
I see. Thank you.
Are you sure that clarifies the idea?
No, I'm not sure.
Continue then.
Okay.
I talked to John the other night about the methyl
Thanks.
and we're both kind of wondering how it all connects for us.
All right, now again understand, you can utilize your imagination and simply recognize that the idea is that you are connecting into a certain portion of your unconscious, mass conscious energy that allowed itself in times past to be physicalized and exemplified upon your planet Earth in forms that you then understood to be elemental spirits. Understand that the Sirius energy manifests in the same way. It cloaks itself in the elemental archetypal energy of your electromagnetic system. And thus, what you created in the past, in cloaking, let us say, giving substance to the energy of the mass subconsciousness then, is what you are doing now in the recognition of the connection to the seeming extraterrestrial consciousness.
So it's a blending of their
Perhaps this will clarify the idea as well. Many times when what you call Sirius energy has, let us say, projected its mentality to your planet, it has always been perceived in mythological form. for they do not come physically. They impress themselves upon your mentality, and your mentality will cloak them out of the electromagnetic subconsciousness in whatever form makes sense to you. And in this way, many of the mythologies upon your planet are the result of interactions in that way, but what you perceive is not a literal perception of how they look. And thus, because you are forming those same types of connections to what you have called upon your planet, the elemental spirits of nature, previously in many lives that were very strong to you, you can utilize the same connective force and understanding with regard to your identification and forming of the relationship now. You follow me?
Yes.
Well, that has clarified the idea to some degree.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Sure, thank you very much.
Thank you. Sure, yes. One moment.
Yes.
You're next.
Hello, this is Million.
Yes.
Do you recognize me?
Yes.
I have a lot of questions.
All right.
The first one I want to ask about my friends from above or out there
Or in there.
or in there.
What about them?
Well, when...
Would you rather tell me rather than ask?
Oh, well, no, I'd rather ask.
Oh, all right.
Before, when we talked, I asked you who they were.
Right.
And you told me that some were Pleiadians, some were serious,
Right.
and some were friends of Pleiadians who didn't want you to know who they were yet.
All right.
So I'd like to know if you're ready to let me know who they are.
You can find out. The whole point is that when the idea of the timing has occurred, you will find out. Not from me, from you. You follow me? Somewhat. Why are you not willing to understand that you have the power to find out for yourself? The whole point of saying they are not ready is another way of saying that you have chosen not to be ready. Expand and open yourself in complete vulnerability to all that you know yourself to be, and you will automatically create the connections and the opportunities in your life that will lead you to the understanding you need to have. You follow me?
Yes.
What else?
Okay, next question. I have a child,
Yes.
16 years old, going to be 16 years old.
All right.
He's currently in a juvenile home in Sylmar.
All right.
There is another person that I don't believe is here tonight. His name is Rick. And Rick and I have known each other for several months. And each time we talk, we have goose pimples, and there's just an incredible connection between us.
A what connection?
Incredible.
Thank you.
A fabulous connection.
All right.
between us. A perfect connection.
Well, thank you.
And I feel very strongly that it is also connected with my son.
All right.
And I would,
How?
That's
How?
how. Somehow the Rick and my son seem to me very similar.
All right.
And they also seem very similar to me.
All right.
And the first time I ever saw Rick from just a distance, I felt a strong sense of love for him, even though I didn't know him. But it's very, very powerful love and a cherishing kind of.
Did you almost think of him as perhaps your son might be?
Yes. Yes.
Understand in this way that in our perception, which does not say much, but in this way simply in our perception, what you call the entity Rick and what you call the entity being your son in this way are counterpart energies of the same consciousness. One exemplifying a futurized aspect of itself in the same time frame. One creating, your son, creating a futurized aspect of the same soul in the same time frame. And the elder creating a past aspect in the same time frame, rather than in another life. Does that clarify the idea? They are reflections of each other in different understandings.
Would it be a good idea to introduce them? They have not met.
Go ahead.
Okay, I will.
Thank you for co-creating that idea. Now, when you place the two mirrors in front of each other, allow yourself to also recognize how many reflections of yourself you will see. You are now creating, in a sense, something which can open up ideas within you holographically. You follow me? In other words, instead of encountering the flatness of a reflection, it will open up dimensions within you that will allow you to see yourself and your relationship as the interaction with them in a triangular triad formation that will allow you to understand many different levels and directions and dimensions of yourself simultaneously, if you are willing to simply be open to the energy without judgment or expectation. Immerse yourself in the energy of the interaction. Do not make demands. Do not insist how they should interact in this way. Simply allow the interaction to take place and immerse yourself in the creation of the energy field that results. You will allow certain ideas to open within you, and that opening will create you to be a reflection for them that will allow certain ideas to open for them. You follow me?
Yes.
Anything else?
Yes. Have fun. Stop.
Maybe.
Back to Ukraine. I've recently had another pinpointed two.
Speak up!
We have pinpointed two.
Thank you.
Pinpointed two things with the same kind of energy, and I've had a feeling of another one. I think it still is in Spain. It has to do with the Inquisition, and with me being a Catholic or a monk or maybe one of the Inquisitors.
All right. What does that idea do for you? Understand you are creating that connection from the present, in the present. What does it allow you to reflect to yourself as the present you?
Just more understanding of some of the things that occur to me, like a lot of, like our Catholic churches, for instance, certain parts of liturgy and a part of ritual that occur in Catholicism.
All right.
A fascination with it.
All right.
Comfort in it.
All right. Can it also allow you the perspective of not being judgmental in your inquisitiveness? All right. Thank you. Thanks.
Bashar, many of our medical and nutritional practitioners, as well as many laymen, have observed that refined sugars can cause deterioration of physical body organs and whatnot. I believe you confirmed that this was one of the mass consciousness choices that we've had on this planet, at least, for the past several decades or so. And I observed that there's another sweetener called NutraSweet, and the chemical name is aspartame, which is gaining a lot of popularity in at least our society. I'm wondering if our mass consciousness has an agreement that this also has deteriorative effects. So can you illuminate us on those effects?
Some of them will be what you call adrenal.
In what way?
The inhibition of the ability of those glands to process properly and to create what you call toxic side effect substance. You'll find there will be chemical bonds created in which inhibitors in the aspartame will take the place of natural nutrients within that area. And not allow there to be a continuation of natural formation chemical structures which allow them to be processed in the of your abdominal area, the natural function of those glands. You follow me?
Yes. Very good. I don't know if the comparison can be made, but would you say that if one were to choose between NutraSweet and sugar, would there be a less deteriorative choice?
It will depend upon your belief structure.
Thank you.
Is there another substance which can add sweetness?
What you call natural fruit juice. Fruit juice.
Michelle? I was curious, how do you designate points in space? In other words, how do you what is your coordinate geometry like on SSI?
Do you mean navigation?
Sure, you'll need to have some points in time-space to get there. How do you do that?
In this way, you will find that when we allow ourselves to isolate ourselves from the field of any particular universe, then in this way, all universes will become immediate. In that sense, they will take upon them the form of surrounding us within a shell, a holographic structure, spherical structure in this way. And you can, within that understanding, let us say, in a colloquial manner, choose the idea of a particular direction relative to the inner surface of that sphere that has been created around the ship. You can identify by frequency vibration, by fluctuations in the idea of the overall vibrational patterns. It is, in a sense, equational. But always in this way, it is equational relative to the understanding we have of ourselves as the universe. We are always the 0 point, no matter where we are.
That seems logical for the ease of calculation.
It is mostly the idea, not so much of calculation, but identification. In the manner that you would understand to be identifying with something. In this sense, again, it is not so much that we pick out any specific point, but that we identify with the vibrational resonance of an idea. We scan, let us say, the flavor of the different universes, the different locales. And in this way, what we identify with, in this way, what we identify as the vibration that we wish to be congruent with, we simply adopt as the vibration of the entire ship.
You're there?
Yes. Once we remove the isolation field.
Okay. Which is mass? Is that the gate?
It is, in your terms, an energy field that surrounds the ship and isolates it from any particular universe, so that it is in touch with all universes. We instill upon it, through the idea of the identification of vibration, upon the ship itself, a new understanding of the property of its location. Location to us is not a space in which an object exists. It is a property of the object. And if you redefine that particular property, then the object, by definition, must take up residence at the new location, automatically, instantaneously. You follow me?
Yes, but how do you change mass?
Change mass? We are not moving mass. We are re-identifying the idea of what the mass is. In other words, if you find there is an object, two objects, and you measure them identically, in every way, shape, and form that you can, you will still find that there is a difference. They are two objects. They occupy two locations. In this way, the reason that they occupy two locations from our perspective and substitute a new locational understanding. When you remove the field, it will simply automatically, holographically be where it needs to be in synchronous harmony with the new identification you have given it. Nothing is moving. There is no traveling at all. It is re-identifying the idea of its location. Understand, all travel within time and space is travel within, but it is not really travel at all. Nothing is moving. Even when you walk through a room it is only an illusion. You are not really going anywhere. Follow me.
Yes. Do you have, where you come from, do you have mass yourself?
Okay. Force density, mass.
So you have blood.
In a sense, yes. We are, in your terms, still force density beings in that way, in our physical expression. You would be able to perceive us as having physiological form, though it will be somewhat different from your own, not only in appearance, but also in consistency.
Do you die?
In a sense, we allow ourselves to simply, when we know the purpose of our lifespan is up, to exit, in a sense, leave the body. And it converts into the energy of the electromagnetic field of the planet.
And does time affect your body?
Very slightly. In this way, you will find that the majority of the sensation of time that we create is for the purpose of interacting with other civilizations that still are in third density. We will experience some degree of the passage of time, so to speak, but more often than not, our experience will be of the timing of an event, the simple experience of an idea, without regard to the idea of how much time has passed. We do not measure so much in that way.
Are you individuals, or are you tied into a construct larger than yourself?
Both. So are you. We simply allow ourselves to be conscious of it.
Michelle?
One moment.
Can you explain again what you said about moving? You know, woman saying one.
Simply in this way, the idea of any motion at all is an illusion. Since you are creating yourself from moment to moment to moment to moment, you are creating the illusion of the continuousness of the idea of being here, then there. You could instantaneously be here, then there, without all the intervening moments, if you wish. It is an illusion that you need to take this step, that step, that step, that step, that step, that step, and so forth. You can simply create yourself to be here, then there.
You do that. But that woman made of wood here, isn't it?
That is a definition of a rearrangement of energy, which is a vibrational pattern, which is something that comes from your consciousness. All physical reality is a symbolic illusion. You create it to seem solid because that is the illusion you desire.
The ultimate state is being there.
Okay? Understand that when you are at infinite acceleration, when you are everywhere at once, the feeling is in the sense of standing perfectly still. You follow me? It is more, if you wish to say, put it more colloquially, in the terms you understand it. It is still not in this way, let us say, an accurate analogy, but you can understand that it is not so much that you go anywhere, it is more that the universe comes to you. One moment. Are you through?
Yes but no.
All right. Yes.
Are you the only person representing your planet?
No. No.
How many are there?
On your planet?
Well, here. How many people are doing what you're doing tonight on your planet?
On your planet. Or on all planets that we are in contact with.
Well, that's the way you're putting it.
All right. 12 on your planet. 17 on another planet. 51 on another. 38 on another. 14 on another. 2 on one. No, 3. Muvadu.
Another question.
Right.
What, me personally, and I think maybe some of the other people here might have the same feeling.
All right. Speak for yourself, however.
I'll speak for myself. as far as rushing things to happen or to not experience certain things, but to just get to the end result, is that normal or is that just
normal? It is the way you have created your society to be, but in this way it is not allowing yourself to experience the life you are creating for yourself. Understand that every single moment of your life is what you have chosen to experience to get where you want to be. When you overlook that and create the idea of impatience by creating a need for patience, you do not consciously, experientially live the life you are creating yourself to live. You follow me?
Yes.
Will that answer your question?
Yes, I have one more.
All right.
I'm in the process of considering changing my experience as far as my job.
All right.
And I just wanted to hear some feedback from you.
Feedback. What are you allowing yourself to become excited about? What is it you desire to do?
You want me to tell you, or do you want me to just say, okay?
Yes, tell me.
I want to work in television sales.
Oh, all right. That is exciting, yes?
That's exciting to me, yes.
How exciting?
Very exciting.
Oh, all right. Then, have a good time. Understand there is no more to be said. If you are completely excited about that idea, if you are willing to know that you are that idea right now, or you would not be able to perceive it, you can only perceive what you contain. Since you know you are that idea right now, if you are willing to be that idea right now, you will attract automatically all the situations, opportunities, and individuals that you require, so that you can act upon those opportunities, situations, and individuals and interact with them in the way that will allow you to be that idea and express yourself in that way. It is that simple. Did you catch that? All right, it is automatic. Let yourself be automatic. Act upon the opportunities you attract.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure.
Good.
You had mentioned that there are on your planet 200 million permanent party.
Approximately.
And many, many visitors.
Yes.
Is the same thing true on this planet?
No.
Do we have any visitors along those lines?
Now and then a few, yes.
Is it of significance to us in our present situation to be in touch with these?
If you need to, you will be. From time to time, some of you have come across some of these individuals. Perhaps you had a feeling of disorientation when you did. In this way, if it serves you, you will interact. You may not interact very strongly, but you may find yourself crossing paths, looking back, wondering what it was that you experienced that was so strange and different. And in this way, you may also find that many times individuals who have interacted with some of those individuals will look back and find the individual with whom they interacted to be gone. You follow me?
I had the experience of having what seemed like a very strong, tall, much taller man who was halfway into my body and halfway out, and who was, as it said, was the source of my channeling about anger, work, and the pretend work that I do.
All right. But the idea in this way of the idea of interacting with consciousness for the purpose of channeling is not the same idea we were discussing.
Okay. So was this a channeling situation?
Yes.
That was. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bashar?
One moment. Are you through?
I was wondering if you could give a real example, an actual example of such an interaction with one of these visitors.
I just did. You are, let us say, driving along in one of your cars. You see someone standing by the side of the road. They, for some reason, feel a little strange, look a little different. Something is not quite fitting in. There is nothing around for miles, but there they are. They do not appear, in your terms, to be hitching. They are simply staring, observing, looking around. You pass them, and you have gone no more than perhaps a few dozen feet. You turn around, and they are nowhere to be seen. This is one incident that has occurred to an individual upon your planet.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
When you're speaking through Darrow, is it just you, or is it the collective consciousness of your planet?
Thank you. In this way, it is in a sense both. I am always connected to the collective consciousness of my world in this way, and many times the pulsation of the association will be present. I am simply, in a sense, directing the flow. So from time to time, it will be the idea more of my own consciousness, more of their consciousness from time to time, but understand in all cases, it is not exactly specifically what you will recognize to be my consciousness or theirs, or even the physiological channels, but a completely blended third idea of that.
Of all three of those.
And you, in your perception of it, create yet another version of it.
Okay. In the book, The Raw Material, Raw speaks of itself as
a collective
social memory complex.
Yes. The association.
Is that different than what you're describing?
Not intrinsically, no. Although it does allow itself to focalize in that way upon many densities that also are not physiological, whereas many times you will find that while we do recognize within the idea of the association also the same non-physiological entity, many times our reference to the association is also of all the physiological civilizations that interact with each other specifically. What you would call a confederation. Whereas what they are referring to in this way is the recognition of all of their own specific consciousness as the dimension in which they are coming from. Did that make sense?
No.
Did that translate?
Somewhat, not entirely.
The idea of their memory complex is the recognition of the entities that they are, not so much coming from a density, but actually being the density they come from. Understand that when you allow yourself to, let us say, in your terminology, achieve a certain level of existence, it is not so much that you recognize you exist within dimensionality, you recognize that you exist as the dimensionality itself.
I see.
And this is what they are describing themselves to be.
That's what they mean when they say they are a social memory complex.
Yes.
A collection of many
ideas that forms its own state of being in a dimensional sense.
Okay, thank you.
You may all take a short break.
It seems to be similar to when you're channeling your higher consciousness. So I suppose anytime you're blending with another consciousness in that way, we can expect...
You may notice variations in the transmission, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
I have a dream that I'd like to share and ask a question about. I have a cousin named Alyssa that has cerebral palsy. And
all right.
She was born that way, severely handicapped. She can't speak. And in my dream...
You mean not vocally?
Right. Very much through her eyes.
All right.
So in my dream, she had died, and her parents, my aunt and uncle, were grieving over her. And I went into the room where she was and she had a sheet over her head. I pulled the sheet back, and I didn't feel like she was dead, so I talked to her, and then she sat up. And superimposed over her body was the body of a little boy. And the father was so astounded, he said, "Oh, I've got to get her to a doctor immediately." We took her to the doctor, and the doctor said that all of her genetic problems had been cleared up. And the dream went on where I was talking to her and talking to the superimposed little boy as her. And that was the end of the dream. And then about a week later, she had someone call. She doesn't speak, but she had someone call and say that she wanted to talk to me. I was wondering if you can tune into her specifically and in general. I want to know about handicapped people that are now going through the density shift.
Yes. In this way, you will find, first and fundamentally, that many of the ideas of what you call handicapped individuals are allowing them to experience an acceleration of an experience in this way, in your terms, to have the experience very quickly in life, to compact a lot of limitation into the life, so they will not need to experience that form of limitation again. You follow me?
Yes.
In this way, one of the perceptions that we have of the idea of the so-called little boy will be an exemplification of the potential of what? Now, this is our perception at this time of what her next incarnation can be. You follow me?
Yes.
In this way, it will be the opportunity to recognize that it can be someone born with full freedom, full recognition, and full consciousness into the understanding of the transformation. There is also the opportunity to choose not to be physicalized and assists from the level of what you call spirit realm in the same way.
So is there a possibility of her actual physical death?
It is a possibility, yes.
She reports that in her dreams she is completely able to speak and move around.
Yes, of course. There is no limitation in the dream reality in that way.
Can you suggest something about our interaction with her or why she called an aspect of us to come?
What are you learning from her?
We haven't had an interaction yet.
Then go and do so. What are you learning from her in the interactions you have had?
What I sense most is the strength of her energy.
All right. Understand that in the state she has created herself to be, she is 100% completely convictive.
What does that mean? Oh, she's doing it with conviction?
Yes.
Can you suggest ways that we might participate in what? Or on what level?
Touch. Understand a great deal is communicated by the idea of touch. And if you form the idea of visual patterns within your mentality and allow your eyes to connect and you touch, you can form an entire language in that way. You will know what you are saying and she will know what you are saying and vice versa through the eyes in that way. As you allow the idea of the imaginary touch in that way to come from her upon your body. You follow me?
Yes. Bashar,
Yes.
I have one more question. Recently I've been experiencing a lot of density shifts in terms of pain in my ear. And it's not in my inner ear, but it's closer to the surface where I'll hear maybe 4 or 5 different high-pitched frequencies. I feel like I'm allowing myself to experience that, and I don't understand. I still experience very sharp pain.
All right. One moment. Have you in this way, according to your belief system, already had discussion with what you call your medical practitioners?
No.
Do so. Not to frighten you. In this way, simply recognize that the act of doing so will allow you to learn a few things.
I'm just curious, if I am allowing the experience...
You are always creating everything in your life. That does not mean that you cannot create also symbols to interact with, that you have interacted with before. But understand you can utilize the same symbol, the interaction with your medical personnel, for different reasons at this time. The act of the interaction itself may be all that is necessary.
Would an acupuncturist be...
If that is what your imagination allows you to understand, yes. In this way we also perceive, if you do that, you will also do something else. It will not be enough for you.
A regular Western ear, nose, and throat.
That you will do as well. You will also explore the idea of what you call homeopathic medicine.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
You may also, with your imagination, allow yourself the understanding of yourself as an electromagnetic phenomenon. And allow the vibration of your magnetic resonance that is contained within what you call your sinus cavities and your ear canals to be balanced. All right?
Through my
Yes. And also, not so much even through the idea of the immersion in water, but even for you simply the staring at water can make enough of an identification for you to allow the effect to alleviate itself. Tap into the electromagnetic consciousness of water.
And do the frequency pitches have anything to do with infusion of energy from another source?
It is not so much another source, it is the recognition of the different vibrational tones of your blending into all the different levels that you are. You follow me?
I think so.
Follow your intuition. You do not need to have an analytical label for now.
Bashar?
One moment. Many of you, while still in what you call your present physiological form, will exist to see your planet create its own spacecraft. Some of you, while still in your present physiological form, will set foot inside those vehicles. Of your own creation, from your own technology, upon your own planet. This is something which you have known will be probable, and our perception is that the doorway to this probability has widened at this time. The action, acceleration, and reactions that will allow you to snap yourself into fourth density awareness and the willingness to express the conviction and boldness of acting that awareness out will create a higher degree of probability of your own beings upon your own planet experiencing that expression of your technology within your own lifetime. Do you follow me?
Yeah.
Sharing.
Sure.
All right, you.
Me? Okay.
Guys?
I have two questions. You said that there was 12 people from your planet communicating with this planet. I already know 3 of you channels with 3. What are the 9 others?
In this way, you will find that the idea is that there are 12 of our consciousnesses expressing themselves now through what you call 7 individuals upon your planet. Mm-hmm. And in this way, you will find, therefore, that 3 individuals are, in your terms, channeling more than one of us. You follow me?
Mm-hmm.
You will find that the energy will be similar. The naming, of course, the labeling will be different. In this way, as we have shared the idea that you know that Bashar is not my name, we do not have names. And we cannot name ourselves in that way. The naming is always concurrent with the idea of the channel through which our consciousness is being translated, and is always in reference to the situation of the physiological channel with whom we are in contact. In this way, there is no way to identify ourselves for you by a recognizable name at this time, and the blending of all of these endeavors for now, the labeling of all of our contacts upon your planet will not be in the serving of the idea. You follow me?
Oh, yes.
Go ahead.
Well, I would like to know the title for tonight.
Title! Later. All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure.
You! Yo.
Me?
Yo.
I have a broken foot. My left foot, the sternum bone is broken.
Hey, we have discussed this idea. Has the information been shared with you?
Yes, thank you. There's kind of a belief from the medical practice that...
Kinda?
There's a belief in the... Well, not, it is a kind of belief.
Oh, kind of belief. All right. A kind of belief.
There's also a mass mind belief that a break like this, an injury like this, takes from 2 to 6 weeks to heal, and usually 6 weeks being the case.
Interesting, huh?
Okay, well, I'd like to have it healed by Monday.
All right.
So,
thank you.
My question is what can I do to help that along?
Allow the idea to serve you. and allow the time it does take to be a reflection of how much time you have chosen for it to take. Then it will paradoxically accelerate.
I don't understand.
Thank you. The idea is, if you are counting the seconds, you are making the seconds. Therefore, allow yourself to simply go on about your business and allow the idea of all the reasons it has been created to serve you. And in this way, by letting it take as much time as it needs, you will reduce the amount of time.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You follow me?
Yeah. Is there anything...
Always the expression of that idea when you are working with time works easiest when you let it work as a paradox.
Okay.
For the idea that you call paradox is one of the side effects of a time track. Thus you are utilizing time by using paradox as a lever to move it. So in this way, allowance of the way it does manifest is what will allow it to change into another form of the manifestation. Did that translate?
That translated well. And allowing it to do that, is there something nutritionally or vitaminally wise that would just strengthen my whole body over?
What has your body consciousness told you already? Almonds would help.
It hasn't told me that.
All right. What else?
Well, it said like zinc and magnesium.
All right.
Arnica, but and like water too seems to be pretty good.
Also, you may in this way find that the soaking of your foot in warm water with bay leaves, eucalyptus leaves, what you call podiarco.
One more time.
Podiarco. Bark. And what you call cayenne pepper in the water.
Usually when there's a tap, we're supposed to put in the water.
In this way, you will find that the idea will be available for when you are allowing yourself the removal of that device. Okay. Then you will find it will extract symbolically the ideas for the creation through you and out. You follow me? It will be, in your terms, a reinforcement and an acceleration. So there will not be the hanging around of the concern of the reforming of the injury. It will be an acceleration once you are exercising the freedom of motion beyond the idea of what you call your cast. For now, energy will do. And in this way, what you call comfrey tea, what you call saffras tea, we perceive also that of benefit to you in your symbolic subconsciousness will be a relationship to yourself as the earth server by the focusing upon what you call the emerald crystal. And the adoption of the energy of the emerald crystal into the crystalline structure of your being. So that you will not have separatized components that can fracture and break. You follow me?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for your sharing in this way.
Bashar.
Okay?
I have a question.
Then you.
Regarding belief systems.
All right.
okay, about Jesus Christ.
Oh, right.
Could you maybe talk a little bit about the idea of Jesus Christ being the Son of Man, or the Son of God, excuse me?
Do not excuse yourself.
Okay.
The idea of what you call Son of Man is what he called himself. You follow me?
Yes.
Recognizing this way, therefore, what was being shared with you by the manifestation of all that is in that form was that you, each and every one of you, are also a manifestation of all that is. And if you would simply act like unto him, you would be expressing the idea of Christ consciousness, if you choose to call it that, upon your own planet. Recognize that the idea of what you call your second coming is the recognition of the Christ consciousness with each and every one of you. It is not going to be expressed in a single individual. You follow me?
Yes. Okay. Also, then during those, all right, in regards to the Bible, what I don't understand is what can I say? Words that were written down that Christ supposedly said that.
Some are literal, some are not. Much of what was said is not in your Bible.
Can you explain why?
Interpretations of the era in which many of the ideas were written and compiled. Belief systems that existed at the time, perspectives, circumstances, desires, manipulations.
May I ask you another question? Would you say then that the Bible itself is a belief system?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bashar?
Yes. One moment. You are next. Yes.
Last week you talked about the physiological form of the beings on your system, planetary system.
Yes.
And I got a real distinct impression of the faces.
All right.
What I was curious is, do you have hands and feet, and do you use them like we do?
Yes, yes.
Like 5 fingers?
Yes.
5 toes?
Yes.
You walk?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, yes.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Although there will be some differences in our experience of that idea.
And you wear flowing cut garments, some kind of flowing. Did you say something like that?
In this way, they are usually form-fitting.
Okay.
They can, from time to time, should an individual desire the creation of that idea, create a flowing garment, if that is an expression of what they are allowing themselves to be.
But it's more often close-fitting?
Yes.
And in color?
Can be, yes.
Color is chosen by the individual.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes.
I was going to call you Dodanya a moment ago. I
Oh,
forgot your name.
right.
I was wondering if, well, one, because I forgot your name and wanted to call you Dodanya, I was wondering if you carry the energy also of Dodanya.
The physical channel does. Okay. For in this way, the physical channel carries the energy of what you refer to as a gateway. In terms of the physiological channel, the translation would not be Dodanya, but Damascus.
Now, as far as I know for myself, well, let me start that.
Oh, what?
Let's see. Dodanya as the gatekeeper for me.
And the gate.
And the gate.
Okay.
Now, what do I need to, well, how is he connected to Sirius? Is he connected to all energies?
In a sense.
Is he the gate?
In a sense.
That you pass through to get to any and all
in a sense.
Levels,
yes.
Places,
yes.
beings.
Yes.
Places of being.
Yes. State of existence. It is a symbolic interpretation of the idea of passage, of transformation, of that energy, of that state of being. It is in and of itself a state of being. And it is in your terms, very, 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 very ancient. upon your planet. For in a sense, it is also representational, symbolically, of the gate through which you all came to be here.
For myself to get more in touch with Dodanya.
Yes.
Is that the part of me getting in touch with my own multidimensionality?
Yes.
And he came to me when I was 13.
All right. Not unusual. What you call approximately age 11 to 16, 17, high time of psychic awareness and activity.
And he also came along with when I was, the situation was I was respecting with a girlfriend. We were trying to make us code names.
All right.
For the boys we had crushes on at the time.
And
To use as a mystery code so nobody else would know what we were talking about.
all right.
And so first I came up with Tristan.
All right.
And our crown.
All right.
Dodanya.
All right.
Lerjado.
All right.
And Lerjado.
All right.
Are those all beings from the same time period?
They are all manifestations of the same consciousness. In many different aspects. They are not separated. Except as you need them to be to serve your symbolic purpose. You follow me?
Yes. And to touch into them, just think of their names.
Yes. And you're automatically the vibration. And automatically the state of that beingness.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bashar,
Yes.
could you say something about the nature of fear? Sometimes, in some places, I'm just gripped by fear.
All right.
In particular, I am moving to a house on top of a hill with a big space, and I am compelled to go out there and perhaps sleep out in the mountains.
All right.
I'm also, when I walk out there at night, I'm gripped by fear.
All right. In this sense, our perception is simply that you are in awe of the total amount of power to which you feel connected. And that is what you fear. You fear you cannot contain it. You fear it is greater than you, and it will destroy you. That is not really possible. That is our perception of the fear you are experiencing. Your own self-empowerment. Your own connection. Your own expression of yourself as all that is.
Which should I follow?
Should?
Should I let the fear stop me, or just go with
It is up to you. What do you mean, should I let the fear stop me? Allow yourself, first of all, to know that you are choosing to create fear. Acknowledge and accept it. Then it will be apparent why you have chosen to create fear, because then by choosing to acknowledge it, you are allowing it to be equal to any other choice you could make. And you are allowing it to serve the purpose of bringing you the message you have created it to bring you. And then you can act according to however you wish to act. There are no shoulds.
Can you tell me something about that message that fear brings? The purpose of it?
It is, in one way, simply a recognition that you may have belief systems within you that allow you to think that you are not in control, and so when you touch the idea of how much power you actually have, you carry with it the extension and the extrapolation that then that only means you will be that much more out of control. You follow me? That is one of the primary messages. But understand, all it is allowing you to recognize is that you have the belief. Many times you experience scenarios like that and emotions in that way simply for the purpose of seeing that you have that belief. And then you can go on to something else. You can choose to serve yourself in that way, to let the purpose be served and serve all that is in another manner. Allow the fear in this way to be acknowledged as serving you. And you, using your imagination, will allow yourself to know why you have created it. It will become transparent to you. Like the night sky. You follow me? Well, thank you very much. And one moment. Love yourself. All right? Understand that your relationship to the universe will only leave you, if you are willing to allow it to be so, feeling supported, nurtured, and loved. All that you are ever going to discover is always going to be only more of yourself, and it can always be allowed to feel very familiar. All right? Thank you very much. Yes?
Bashar,
Yes.
I have a question about our concept of love.
Oh, all right.
To us, we perceive it as one special person on earth,
Oh, really?
as to that special person. I was wondering
Special person.
if perhaps it was a group of people on our individual consciousness throughout the universe that we might connect with, just as random. We might run into them in our travels.
But you make the choice, in a sense, to allow yourself the opportunity to do so. And thus, in your terms, it is not an accidental coincidence. There are no accidental coincidences. There are synchronicities. There is the experience of coincidence, but it serves you. And you are connected to everyone and everything in the universe. Those that you attract will be for the purpose of allowing you to serve them and for them to serve you. And that is always an act and an expression of love.
And I was wondering, I've been visited before.
All right. By who?
I'm not sure.
All right. What did it feel like? What was the experience?
The experience was warm.
All right.
It was scary.
All right.
I think that maybe my fear repelled them.
All right. They will never push you farther than you allow yourself to go. Understand that first of all, and therefore allow some of the fear to abate by knowing that you are completely in control of determining exactly how fast you will move with any interaction. For recognize the second you express that fear, it will withdraw. It is not so much that you have to judge yourself and condemn yourself for the idea of having created fear and allow the experience to go away. No. It is an indication that you are in control of the interaction. And that when you feel you have reached the limit to which you can accept the interaction, it will withdraw. Showing you in no uncertain terms that you are completely in control of just how fast you will proceed. So you are safe, so relax. You follow me?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much. Will that have answered your question?
Yes, it does.
Thank you.
Bashar.
One moment. Right? Yes.
Oh, yes. A couple of recently, when I've been outside at night, and since I first came to see you, the sky has seemed completely different.
All right.
There's a great sense of it. And at times I get a disorientation.
Oh, good. That's good.
At times I feel as if I'm so tall that if I spread out my arms, I would encompass all of Los Angeles.
Yes, you do. You are that expansive.
Alright, and then I stare at the line,
Right?
which is where the craters are.
No.
No? Okay. Something is in a line
Yes.
that compels me.
Yes.
I've always been fascinated by a line
Yes.
before this, but
Yes.
there's something about a line
Yes.
that causes even more of a disorientation.
Yes.
I feel as if I'm there.
Yes, you are. Understand in this way, there are many such connections upon your planet at this time. Because of what was experienced there and what is being experienced now upon your planet and the connection that has been made to allow, in your terms, for the completion of a cycle that started there and ends here. It is the opportunity to explore and experience freedom of choice, which many of you did not experience there.
What happened there?
Oh, nothing. Yes.
Is whatever has happened connected with one of the stars?
Allow yourself, if you wish, as a symbol, and this is all we can share with you at this time, to focus on the vibrational resonance of one of the stars that you call Mintaka. Mintaka. Thank you. Good.
Bashar?
Female. All right. Male.
The 7 levels above the physical and astral, so to say. Could you explain how these relate to the concept of density, third density, fourth density?
In a sense, they are analogous. They can be experienced as 7 levels within those that are pertinent to third density, and they can also be understood as the densities themselves. In other words, there is a simulacrum surrounding third density experience in which you can experience refinement of physicalness, in a sense, into the astral and causal bodies, in that way, etheric bodies, and those kinds of forms that are sort of like a small version of the total version of the 7 levels. But in this way, the 7 levels in and of themselves do have connections to each of the 7 bodies in that way. Is this making sense?
Well, it is, but it's not, because there's a physical, but they don't equate one for one. The physical is not the third, the astral is not the fourth density.
There is a fourth physical and a fourth non-physical, which you can consider to be astral, yes.
I lost that entirely.
There is, in the fourth density is, let us say, the last density in which you can both experience physicalness and non-physicalness.
Okay.
The non-physical aspect of fourth density is what you call astral.
I see. On last Thursday, you made the remark that the transformation from third to fourth is focused primarily on our physiological manifestation, not on the other densities.
Oh, it is an alignment of the other densities, but you will be experiencing the first manifestation of that alignment in physiological terms, since you can still be physical in fourth density. In other words, fourth density will be completely refined and put in synchronous harmony with all the other levels before you leave it. Does that make sense?
Yes, but does that mean that, but the transformation from third to fourth involves an alignment of all 7 of those levels?
It involves a recognition of an alignment that exists already, yes. It is the recognition alone that will allow you to make the transformation and experience your physical reality in the terms we have described as fourth density.
Okay, but there's still something that I don't get about these levels. Could you go through them and explain?
Simply, you will find that within the idea of the different densifications you can have, let us say, in the astral realm. In the astral realm, let me simplify it this way. In the astral realm, there are different separations. Within the total astral realm, there are different separations that reflect the different whole density vibrations you know to be 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th.
Harmonic?
Yes.
Okay. And then how about each of the levels above that?
They are different octaves in that way that involve what you call quasi-planar realities, and we are also exploring those ideas ourselves.
I don't know what that means. What is quasi?
We do not know exactly what it means either.
Well, what is crazy?
Quasi-planar reality. In other words, in this sense, it does not exist in what we consider in this universe that we share in the standard format of a dimensional experience.
What does?
The quasi-planar realities.
Yes, but back to, there are 7 levels including the physical or above the physical?
Including.
Including. So there's physical, there's astral. What are the others?
There is causal, mental, there is etheric,
In this order? In that order?
No. The order to us in this way is nebulous, for they are shifting to us in many different ways.
So they're not necessarily fixed like the keys on a piano. You don't move from one to the other.
You do in a way. We perceive they are becoming more blended, and at this time our perception in your terms is therefore, let us say, fuzzy.
They're becoming more blended for everybody or for us?
For you.
How are they for you?
In a sense, they are blended. That is why we have experience not only in fourth but also in fifth density, consciously. For we have already gone through the different separations in our astral level. Those separations that each have a harmonic, sympathetic vibration to the different density levels.
So as we move up to, say, fifth density, all of these different levels that you spoke about
will already be blended.
Become blended, and they are merely aspects of a single self.
Yes.
Whereas from our perspective of third,
they are still a ladder to be climbed.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bashar.
Oh, thank you.
A couple of years ago, I saw 3 red lights in the sky that weren't flames, and I feel like they had some significance for me.
Obviously, since you co-created the idea and the experience into your reality. What do you feel? Explore! Be bold. Have conviction. Take the first step yourself. How do they serve you? To recognize them as you have.
They were, in a very simple way, they were just that this type of phenomenon does exist.
All right. And what did that do for you? Creating that realization.
Reinforced ideas that I had already intuited.
All right. Can you simply continue this process?
Feels like there was a particular connection to me, that they weren't just in a random...
Of course. It cannot be otherwise. There are no accidental coincidences. Well?
Where is that going?
I don't believe you. Where is your imagination?
At the time that this happened, I had a very powerful crystal.
All right, continue.
Very, it had a number of samples in it, and was extremely good at channeling energy for healing people.
All right, very good. Keep going.
Well, it was stolen.
All right, keep going.
Around that time.
Yes, yes, yes. Nothing is ever lost. Keep going. Why? Why? Why was it taken? Why? Quickly, do not think about it. Why? Time's up. Why? Why? Why does any symbol transform? Well? Oh, come. Why does anything change? Why does any symbol you are used to having change out of your life? Thank you! And because you do not need it anymore, because you can take upon yourself the understanding that you are now your own crystal. You are your own receiver. You are your own sender. You do not need the tool. You follow me?
Yes.
Now, how does it feel to be the crystal? Yourself. Can you not feel the vibration of energy? The resonance that allows you to look out through the facets that you are in that way, through the phantom doorways within yourself, into other dimensions of experience that allow you to interact with other forms of consciousness?
I understand.
Thank you. Will that have served you?
Yes.
Think, for now, if you will, if you wish. It is up to you. in triads. All right? Yes, no, maybe. Oh, thank you. It's up to you.
What do you mean by triads?
Triads! That is not all it means. What I mean by triad is not important. The word and the impulse has been shared. And the idea is, for that individual and for you, what do you think of triads? Let your imagination have the freedom that will allow you to discover who you are. Make anything of it you wish. If you feel attracted to it, create it into your reality in whatever form your imagination allows you to create the idea, and explore. Have a good time. Thank you.
Thank you. Bashar.
You.
Bashar. Are the friends of the Pleiadians connected with Orion?
In a sense.
Question number 2. I've walked on fire, and part of that was spoon bending. We did a spoon bending exercise. When I was bending a metal spoon, was I in fourth density?
In a sense. For it was the idea in one form of the expression of the illusion of physical materiality and the supposed rigid structure in which you have habitually thought yourselves to be. So in a sense, yes. Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, it's you. Then you.
I've been having an interesting relationship with my car recently.
Oh, very good.
And I'd like to have some help in understanding this more fully.
Proceed.
Well, I've had many cars, and I usually get along very well with them. And,
all right.
And they get along well with me, and we kind of exist in synchronous harmony.
All right.
But this time...
How are you existing in synchronous harmony this time? How are you existing in synchronous harmony this time? What is now the definition of the same synchronous harmony you have always experienced? There are no interruptions in your life. What is the definition?
Dissonance.
And how does that serve you?
Well, I haven't quite figured that out. I feel I need a little more reflection.
All right. Has anyone got a mirror? Oh, everyone is a mirror? Oh, thank you. Everything is a mirror? Oh, thank you. Do you mean that if you sense there is a difference in the vibration between the idea of yourself as a vehicle and where you are going, that perhaps you can change the idea of the vehicle that carries you there? And what it reflects to you as the idea of a vehicle, yourself as the idea of your own vehicle.
That's very interesting, because I've been experiencing incredible acceleration lately.
What?
Incredible acceleration. But my car won't go.
All right. Then in this case, recognize you may be forming a polarity for yourself based on a belief that you may be able to go too fast. And so you create something to hold you back a little bit, as long as you have that fear.
Well, I wasn't really aware of having that fear. I love going fast.
All right. How fast?
Well, as I said a while ago, the ultimate speed is being there, and I find that I'm more and more often there.
All right.
I'm experiencing the idea. I am the idea.
Then recognize that if you're always there, then your car has gotten you where you want it to be. You follow me?
Well, somewhat, yes.
In other words, You simply find now that rather than the places you expect to be, where you are is where you want to be.
Yes, I thought about that today.
Oh, what a coincidence. Did you think about trusting it?
Well, I have this dichotomy going.
Yes, that is what we said, polarity.
Yes, right.
And what is this dichotomy?
Part of it is I guess it's a polarity within myself having to do with third density reality, fourth density reality. On one hand,
yes, this one.
Probably.
All right.
I'm feeling much more attuned.
Oh, all right.
This is great. And on the other hand, I wanted to get rid of this car because it's not doing what I want it to, and I don't feel I can trust it. Now, I realize the problem
Not
is...
trust it?
Yes, right.
But you are trusting it completely. By letting it show you what you have chosen for it to show you as a symbol.
Why do I want to get rid of it then?
You don't want to get rid of it. You are simply allowing it to show you that you are transforming and are creating new symbols. And that the old symbols don't fit.
That's true. They don't.
The old ways do not get you where you want to be. You follow me?
Yes, I do. I have the feeling there's a lot here that I'm not really realizing.
But you are realizing everything you need to realize at this moment. Because in every single moment you are always a perfect manifestation of what you have chosen to be for this moment.
Well, it's interesting that in spite of the fact that my car isn't working and it's still in Long Beach, I'm here right now.
Yes.
I must be doing something right.
Of course. You are recognizing the availability of the freedom that you have. You are not restricted by one description of yourself, one vehicle.
Yeah. True. What's your prognosis?
The patient will live.
Do you have any suggestions about how I could get in better communication with this car? Because I really...
But you are in perfect communication with it. That is the point. You are in exactly perfect communication with it.
Okay. I can accept that on some level, but...
Some level? Some level? Why create there to be different levels at all? You are in perfect communication with it. Period. Your consciousness is one consciousness.
If you say so.
No, if you say so. I am simply suggesting that you can look at it that way, and the second that you do look at it that way, everything will become apparent. Because you will not be creating different levels for the different ideas to manifest on. They will only have one level to manifest on, and they will all be in front of your face. You follow me? In other words, allow, instead of the idea of unconscious knowingness, allow yourself to recognize that the same thing is conscious unknowingness, which is the same thing as not wanting to know. You can many times say, oh, well, I don't know because I have unconscious knowingness. But unconscious knowingness is the same thing on the other side of the equation, on the other side of the equal sign, as conscious unknowingness. You refuse to know that you know, and ascribe it to an unconscious knowingness. You know unconsciously. You follow me?
Yes, I do.
Now, why continue to create the idea as having the level of an unconscious into which you can stuff something that can be hidden from you? You are one level. You are one idea. That
will put you in touch and in communication with everything in your reality. For then it will also equally be always on the same level you are, and you with it. And you can always talk freely with everything on your level.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
4. Allowing yourself to meet me eye to eye. Sure.
Bashar.
All right.
Bashar. Oh.
In the last few days, my long-time fascination with the idea of a new form of communication has accelerated, and I'm feeling very limited by verbal communication, and would like to be able to communicate with pictures and symbols and concepts and feelings. And I'd like to know if you can give me a clue as to how to do
Thank you for that co-creation. Yes.
Bashar, do you have ears like we have ears?
They are, in your terms, smaller.
Now, I just read recently, and I just discovered that we humans actually hear by, instead of having vibrations come in, we actually put out a vibration from our ear, and we really hear through the interference of signals coming in.
Yes!
Do you do that as well?
In a sense, understand that is how you interact with everything. What you experience is the interaction of the idea of yourself with the idea of the thing you are interacting with. It is neither you nor the thing. You are the interaction.
Sure. I read also, or at least I heard somewhere, where another consciousness from a world called Ogata is able to read each and every human being by their particular vibration.
Signature vibration.
Is that brain signature vibration, or is hearing?
It is more an overall understanding of the vibrational pattern you happen to be as a consciousness.
Oh, individual consciousness.
Yes.
Is that something we can measure in our technology?
You can create the illusion of measuring it, yes. It will be valid in whatever frame of reference you do the measuring, just like any measurement is only valid within the frame of reference in which you do the measuring.
Can I ask you one more thing? Your idea that you gave us about the rotating copper disc within the electromagnetic field. Okay. If we would take that copper disc and install it, say, in the midst of a three-dimensional gimbal, have it rotate, in 3 dimensions, would that cause the entire object to move in different directions? Does it create a spatial potential sink at different places?
This idea can be adapted to go along with the central drive, but only in addition to it, not as the central drive.
Just as a directional mechanism.
Yes. In addition to it, a trinary arrangement around the central drive. 3 gimbals around the central drive.
Right. X, Y, and Z.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. Sure.
Sure.
You.
I have a question regarding a friend of mine that I was learning very similar information that I'm hearing from you. And what I'd like to know is the energies that have been teaching through him. He claims are extraterrestrials also, and I'm hearing a lot of the same information, almost the exact same wording coming from you. And I'm curious if indeed the energies are the same.
In an overall sense, yes. But in this way, the idea of any energy within the association to which we are connected basically speaks the same language and has the same understanding.
Is that one way to detect a belief? Well, okay, I believe that you're teaching from your belief system.
Of course.
Okay, let's see. Well, some books that I've read and that have been so-called channeled are very opposite or different. Some parallel, but very different. That's why I was curious. If
you will always find that the manifestation of the information will be for the purpose of allowing different individuals who are oriented in different ways to understand the information along their own terminology. And also, you may find simply that the idea is that one perspective will not serve everyone. If you simply find there is something that works for you, use it. If you find there is something that does not, don't.
Okay, also I'd like to ask you one more question. For the last couple of years, I have, for no apparent reason, I see white light. You got that, huh? I see like little white sparkling light. Sometimes I see them out of the corners of my eyes. Sometimes I see them over like the top of my eyes, I guess let's say. What is that? Can you explain that to me?
There is some increased electrical activity stimulating the idea of your sensory apparatus in this way. It is what you would term to be a little bit of an overload, but not in a negative sense. Mm-hmm. You are allowing yourself to channel more energy through the idea of your nerve system in this way and in the energy field round about you to which you are always intimately connected. And you are simply seeing the interaction of the wavefronts as they overlap and reinforce themselves in that way.
So there have been times that I have seen blue light.
Yes.
Is that the same thing, or is that are those?
To some degree, it will simply be a reflection and a understanding of different levels of the energy in that way. Not to say that that is not at times an interaction with other forms of consciousness in that sense, but for now, allow it simply be the interaction of the ideas within your field that you are perceiving consciously. You are perceiving interactions within the field of the energy being you are.
I don't understand.
That is all right.
Okay. Thank you.
You, as an energy field, create the idea of interactions with other dimensions and expressions of your consciousness. Those interactions, those time-space point creations, when they overlap, are reinforced to create, in a sense, a realization or a manifestation, a spark in that way, to allow the energy that is contained within that interaction to manifest itself along where those points of overlap occur, at the intersees of the different vibrational overlaps of the energy field that you are. You are perceiving those reinforced energy points that represent interactions of your consciousness with other forms of the energy. If you were to picture yourself as having a series of network of wires or netting around you, and it was normally invisible to you, but another net came into your field, and where your net touched that net, you were able to see a small spark to let you know where the interactions are taking place. That will be a very rough analogy of the idea.
Okay.
You are seeing the reinforcement of energy fields that you are through the interaction with other ideas that you think you are not.
Okay. Does it have anything to do with fourth density? This is all new to me. That's why.
All right. It has everything to do with the idea of the transformation into the idea of fourth density.
Okay.
Understand that you're extending, each and every one of you, your senses, your definition of what your senses are, into areas that allow you to perceive things you previously could not, including the energy itself that goes into creating what you have always perceived to be your physical reality. You follow me?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for explaining it.
My pleasure. There will be, in your terms, a few more minutes remaining for this interaction. Yes.
Bashar, I'd like you to address the subject of American involvement in Nicaragua and Central America. We seem to be getting progressively more involved there, particularly in the last 24, 48 hours.
All right. What about it?
I'd like to know from your vantage point what it's expressing, what that manifestation is expressing to us as far as spiritual understanding of ourselves as Americans or being in this country.
Perhaps, in a sense, the idea of knowing that you do encompass many ideas, but as of yet have not the conviction to express your vulnerability in the equal expression of other ideas along with your own. Did you understand that?
Not enough.
In this way, you are extending the idea of your so-called scope, your effect in the world in which you live. But in this sense, you are not willing to understand that the extension of that scope is in the experience equally and the granting of validity to the infinite ways in which consciousness expresses itself in your civilization. You follow me? Yes. It is an opportunity for each and every one of you that is willing to recognize that you are your government. You are your government to speak about what you prefer to experience in your reality, without accusations, without demand, but simply the sharing of the idea that you prefer equality, you prefer peace, you prefer to contain the infinite diversity of your civilization, and in so doing create the unity of your civilization in the granting of validity to the infinite diversity out of which it is formed. You follow me?
Yes. Thank you.
Also, it is a recognition of the allowance of the opportunity to know this, that if you truly believe, it is also an opportunity for the other individuals with whom you are interacting to know this themselves. If you truly believe in the reality you know yourself to be, the choice to feel that you must force that reality on someone else in any way, shape, and form means you don't believe in the reality you say you believe in.
Right.
You follow me?
All right.
Thank you. Yes, you and you.
Yes. Actually, Orion, I'm filled with an incredible amount of emotion, feeling, with a fabulous amount of emotion and feeling, and I don't even know what to make into a question with it.
All right, very good. Now, allow the individuals that are with you tonight to illuminate some of their perspective of the entire idea, and the next time we communicate, then there will be a foundation that you will have worked through yourself that will allow there to be a basis for the communication between us. For now, allow yourself to glean what you need to glean from the individuals around you with whom you share similar connections. Once you have absorbed all the, let us say, data, then, as you are then processing the idea, we will then be willing to interact with you to go through the process with you. All right? Thank you. Yes.
Okay, when you first come into the room when Daryl leaves,
I am not really, in a sense, in the room, although I am in my own version of it. Yes.
I'm overwhelmed with the internal vibration that I feel,
Yes.
like being plugged into electrical current.
Yes.
Is this my feeling your force density energy?
It is you feeling your force density energy. It is your willingness to understand that it is not us that influences you. You are allowing us to reflect to you the understanding that you are influencing yourself.
Also, one of the manifestations you said earlier this evening of the shift to fourth density energy was lack of appetite. And this is definitely going on with me, and I'm wondering what effect this has on my unborn child.
In this way, recognize that you can communicate with the child, with your own body consciousness, and come to an acceptable idea of balance for what you do need to intake to support that idea. Trust your intuition. You will not starve yourself.
Is the idea of great joy, loving feelings for everything and everyone around you, feeling of ecstasy, is that also part of the manifestation, or could be symptoms of the manifestation of shift from third to fourth?
Yes. For you are recognizing that everything is created from unconditional love. Oh, thank you! Laughter and having a good time are also the symptoms of fourth density reality. The understanding to know that you, by nature, deserve to be happy without having to do anything to struggle to achieve it. You follow me? You are the natural state of ecstasy itself. Ecstasy is creation. Creation is ecstasy. You follow me?
Yes. I sometimes find myself trying to curb my ecstatic feelings, thinking that they're not appropriate in
All right.
the places I'm in.
All right. Then that curbing, in the moment you create that idea, serves you. When it is through serving you, you will create something else. Well, thank you.
Sure.
Please.
I want to eat all the time.
Oh.
Does that mean I'm not going into fourth density, or do I
Nope.
just have fourth density bulimia?
In this way, you are simply recognizing the idea in a polar form of the idea of thinking that because you feel the acceleration, that you feel that you must support that acceleration with the sustenance you are used to, rather than another type of sustenance. There is nothing wrong with it. You will, in a sense, level out. Do not have to hope so. Hope implies despair.
All right.
Yes.
On the subject of food, I am attaching myself to very spicy foods on a very regular basis. How does that reflect my transformation?
It is something to do with the idea of the feeling that the acceleration brings upon it the idea of the increase in temperature. You follow me?
Yeah.
To some degree in that way, and also recognize the very rapid assimilation of what you call spices into your system and out.
Okay. Yeah, it's also very intense.
Yes. Very, very, shall we say, compacted.
All right, yeah, I understand. In an energy sense, compacted in an
Yes.
energy sense.
Thank you. When we thus communicate, again, of your time, it shall not be the idea that we are at this time within each other. We shall be creating anew, as we always are, a new idea of the interaction that you are with us and we are with you. And in this way, we shall interact within the idea of being the viewpoint of the transformational time frame in the new format in which we will perceive ourselves to be interacting with you in that way. And the activities that we shall share shall be the ideas that we become together. We extend in this way our appreciation to you this night of your time. And we will find in this sense that our activities and our interactions, though there is simultaneity in the interaction with you for now, will also in that sense be required for the idea of the creation of the interaction of ourselves with you as the idea of separation for a brief period of time as you create time to exist. As we continue to interact on all other levels in this way, allow yourselves to blend within the understanding of the sharing that each and every one of you are within yourselves to everything that you have ever been and will ever be in the now moment of the eternal you. We extend our unconditional love to each and every one of you and to the idea of the sharing that we are together. And the energy is for you to make use of in whatever way your imagination shall allow you to perceive the degree to which you are willing to love each and every idea that you create to experience within all that is. And the service that you provide to all that is will allow the automatic support of every endeavor that you are willing to be. We thank in this way the idea of the expression of your willingness to allow us to share the gift of your being, and in this way we express to you our fond love for you all. We bid you exciting dream life. We bid you the idea of interaction. We acknowledge the Creator that you are. We bid you a fond good night.
Good night.
In this way, with the idea of the experience. The idea of the experience of yourself in this way with the blending of the unconditional love that you shall create. For the idea of the interaction that we shall become in this way through what was, I'll say, termed the idea by Bashar of the activity months. In this way shall be the recognition that you, yourselves, each and every one of you, have the conviction of the sharing of the energy that you exist within, that you are the very energy you exist within itself. That you are becoming not only the idea of the fourth density transformation, but you are becoming the density itself of fourth dimensionality, and that shall be the realization of the experience that you are. You will become also physiologically, not only the idea of having to wait to the idea of the experience of the fifth, sixth, and seventh densities in this way, to become the density that you are, but the expression of the experience of yourself as the extension of your consciousness as the physicality of the fourth density being that you will be. You will experience yourself at first to be within the fourth density experience. By the time you are allowing yourself to manifest through the understanding of the end of the fourth density experience, you will be experiencing yourself as the fourth density itself. In physiological terms, you will be extended and expanded experientially as everyone else and yourself. In the fourth density experience, you will smooth the idea of homogeneousness, while at the same time maintaining the idea of your own identity within fourth density experience. You will become the idea of everyone within fourth density experience. They will become you. And that will be what you will experience in this way that will allow you to know that from that time, from the idea you express as the time of several thousand years hence in this way, when you are at the formation of the time when you are going to fifth density, recognize right now that those fourth density beings have the opportunity and are communicating with each and every one of you, so that they, as your future selves, are luring you to be who and what you are. All the idea of the experience of the guide that you have created for yourself to be in this way, and the energy forms in which you exist, will allow you to know that you are exploring the idea of yourself in every facet, every way, every methodology that you have created in the idea of separation, and now within the idea of integration. As you become the fourth density experience, recognize that fourth density reality as the dimension you are willing to be. And we will interact in this way, in many different ways, within the idea of the activity period, in this sense, and shall bequeath, in this sense, our energy to you, for the understanding of the acceleration that you will be creating in your lives can be at any rate you desire, including what you call the rate of instantaneousness. Thank you all very much in this way. We bid you exciting dream lives. We will and are always the sharing with you that continues forever in the eternal now moment that each and every one of you have created yourselves to be. We bid you a fond good night.
Your friend of mine, Shabbat. Serious.
You gotta work out there.
Who's that? Shabbat from Sirius. Came through right at the end. Yeah. Could you tell? Once in a while. When it's appropriate.
Lucky you.